All right, guys, hello. Let's do a longer look at Blind Devotion. Start with the kick drum. So I like to use kick 3 for pretty much all of my songs. I like the ability to be able to tweak it really to the max, especially as your song evolves. You may need to switch up things in the mix a little bit. Kick 3 is a great tool. I highly suggest you learn how to use it. I personally kind of get sick of trying to find the perfect sample, so now you can make your kicks, and really versatile tool. Love it. Really recommend using it. Let's go and look at all the drums together. So the big thing I started with was getting this conga bongo line together. So, getting the vibe of the song correct, without these, the rest wouldn't really come together and the song wouldn't really sound cohesive. Got to go for that organic Afro vibe, right? Big thing is just adding a little delay, some compression for pumping. And then same thing with like these shakers, just some extra reverb, a little pumping with some compression. And then these offbeat hats and claps. So with this, I like to use the API 2500 bus compressor, mostly because it's really, really good with aggressive sounds. And also when you dial it in, it adds some really good harmonics to those sounds. So like attacky basses or just any type of percussive sound, great compressor to use. I use the UID version. There are plenty of other emulated versions, which I think work well. So go check it out if you're looking to get some more compressors, because we all love new toys, right? At least I do. All right, so for our basic clap snare, it's just a couple layers though. Drums, big thing. Some people will say leave drums simple. I like to add extra layers just to help fill out sounds, to help add this little nuanced tonality to them. Same thing with like synths too, you'll see later on. But the wood block really adds a nice little extra like cut into the mix, as well as just makes it not sound like just a clap snare. Helps bring the vibe of the sound into the track a little bit more. I did forget to add for my hats and high perks, I do like the Devil Lock from Sound Toys. Great plugin to add crunch and crush to your sounds. I'll give you an example with and without. With, without. So you can tell like when it's activated, it brings all the really quiet sounds closer to, the louder sounds. But by doing that, you're adding cohesiveness to your drums, making everything sound like they're together and working well together. So yeah, really recommend that plugin if you're looking to buy more tools or toys, particularly sound toys. God, I'm a nerd. All right, so we've got these vocal chops here, which acts as like a percussive layer, like atmospheric layer. You know what? I will play it with and without. Without. I mean, massive difference, right? For me in this process, it was more or less I just kept adding things and testing different plugins until I achieved the result I wanted. And that's a lot of what goes into making music, right? You're just testing and twisting knobs and having fun, and sometimes just going against the grain of what you think would work. And then sometimes you have some great things happen. In this case, voila. All right, bass line. 2 diva layers. I use the UAD multi-mode filter from Moog to add some drive to the bass, or the sub rather, really help it, give it some weight and warmth. And then we have this second layer, which doesn't really have anything but some EQ on it. And that's just to help, the sound cut through the mix more, help fills out the mix more. And as well as this is a wider sound. I do have my sub in mono, obviously, and this is going to be just a little bit wider. So we've got our lead 2 layers. All right, so let's do with and without. Without. Oh, that's the wrong sound. Without. With. I mean, so really you're not noticing like too much of a difference, right? The big thing is just I'm adding some extra saturation, some EQ boosts. Again, another really nice EQ with UAD, the Trident A range. Love this EQ on my lead synths. And some more saturation. And some basic EQ with some dynamic compression going on. Obviously, we've got some automation going on as well in the main drop, as the lead needs to be, I want it to be a little bit more humanistic. Is that even a word? I don't know. That's great. But wanted to add that human touch. There's the word. And also just adds a little bit more ear candy as it's kind of morphing and moving around, right? The top layer is just going to be adding more tone to the sound. So you can't really notice it too much, but that's the good thing. You want it just to fill it out. It's also more centered here, as you can see. Just another mix thing, so it's not crowding the sides. I want it to be pushing down the middle, so it translates better. And it works out great. Let's see, this layer is just kind of a background sound, just kind of adding some more rhythmic elements to the overall song. You really don't notice it, but that's kind of the point. Again, in the background, adding ear candy, delay, moving around the spectrum, moving around your headphones. You don't even really hear it, but it's adding some more nuance to everything, right? All right, so we've got the drop chops, which add another layer of energy at the final peak moment. Let's do a with and without, shall we? So yeah, Redux, EQ getting at the low end. We've got some micro shift pushing it around the stereo field here. And some compression, some more EQ. We got Omnivox, which is kind of just like a chorus from Somatics. It's another toy. Started messing around with it, really like it. It makes things pretty easy if you want to dial in a certain like effect for like chorus. You can really kind of alter it. The controls are very easy. I love the UI. So yeah, recommend it if you're looking for something just to fiddle around with. Then we just got some more reverb and delay. I love the Valhalla stuff for reverb, and Echo Boy from Sound Toys are my go-to delay reverbs. All right, the main piano. We've got this here from Contact. And what I like to do with my piano, I'll let it play here first. Is I start with some basic 4-chord notes, and then gradually added on notes to fill out the sound more of what I wanted. So, with chords, I would suggest that to start basic, kind of get the feel you want, add notes to get more complex and the vibe you want. A lot with piano is just adding some good saturation. I like to use Saturn for a lot of that. Compression, because piano is very dynamic normally, right? Some basic EQ. Cutting the mids out because the lead is sitting here, and then a good trick to help boost the stereo field without using too much delay or pushing the sound around is just to boost a signal on the left, boost a signal on the right, tricks your ears into thinking, oh, this is wider. So something I like to do with a lot of sounds, depending on kind of what it is and what I'm doing. But yeah, let's see some more EQ, and then echo, reverb. Okay. We have the contact keys in the breakdown. Again, just saturation, more EQ, I'm really not doing too much to it. Reverb, delay, compression at the end here at the Fairchild. We have got our LFO synth in the breakdown. So all that is a serum, basic serum saw wave. Probably add a little bit of tweaks to it. If it wants to open, hopefully my project doesn't crash right now. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. So yeah, never mind. I used a nice little patch here, but I know I did dial in the LFO on it. LFO to the cutoff. And that is going to create that effect here. So adding your LFOs to pretty much like every parameter within your synth is a good way to create sounds, experiment with sounds. In this case, I knew what I wanted from the actual section here. So yeah, LFO to cutoff, start twisting around, kind of get the effect you want. This is just, I believe, a pad layer, Omnisphere. Okay, and we've got our energy pads here, which isn't really doing too much besides just adding that extra layer at the drop to fill it out and make it just seem bigger than the previous drop. And we have got the main strings from Omnisphere. Some auto pan with Pan Man. Love Omnisphere. I know it's expensive, but man, the atmospheres and pads you get from that synth are unreal quality. So add it to your Christmas list for Black Friday sales. I highly, highly recommend it. Okay, next big thing I guess I'd say that to talk about would be Soothe 2. It is a dynamic EQ that you can use a lot of other plugins for it. I happen to just like the way Soothe 2 turns out. I know like Pro Q4 does have the ability to do some dynamic EQ. I don't know. I just think the quality of the actual like EQing that Soothe 2 does is just top notch. So that's why I like to use it over using fab filters personally. But all this is doing is I'm routing my leads to these pads to make sure that my pads are ducking when the leads are played. I mean, this is the same thing I'm going to be doing then on the synth track. Like I route all my synths to a synth bus, and basically have my snare clap on there, my kick on there, and also all the vocals. So whenever the vocals are playing, there's an EQ happening to duck to all my synths so the vocals cut through. Like, you'll take a look right here. So yeah, they really cut through really well. Love Soothe too. Highly recommend it. I think it's definitely one of like my go-tos as far as for any like dynamic EQ with your final mixing stage process. I can't recommend it enough. And I guess I don't really have much of a vocal chain to share with you guys on these vocals, but I'll play them for you because, man, Josie absolutely knocked them out of the park. She did such a great job with them. Wow, yeah, absolutely killed him. Such a good job. Hey guys, so that's kind of a longer look inside the track, kind of just a breakdown of all the parts going on. If you do have questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always open to talking about production, getting nerdy with the tech stuff. Haven't really done a lot of walkthroughs in a while, so if you do enjoy this and you want me to do some more, let me know, please. I'm trying to build the channel a little bit more, and I do love nerding out about production. So yeah, reach out to me, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully this was insightful. Hopefully maybe you learned a little something. Let me know, and hopefully we'll do one another again soon. Oh wow, that did not come out. Hopefully I will do another one again soon. There you go. And yeah, guys, Blind Devotion's out now. Go ahead and stream it, add it to your playlists, buy it on Beatport, and we'll see you at the next one.